This week on Love 225, we first introduced you to Oxbow Rum Distillery in downtown Baton Rouge, but today, Olivia Stewart is giving us a tour of how Louisiana sugarcane turns into rum. You do not want to miss that. Then, Hollywood is in the building. Award-winning producer and documentarian Keith Beauchamp joins us to talk about his life's work making a big splash on the big screen. Plus, the sweet sound of music. We have a very special treat joining us here in the Love 225 studio. Vocalist Ariel Simone shares her story of survival and her vocals. You do not want to miss this incredible young talent. And if you don't love Baton Rouge, that's because you don't know Baton Rouge. And if you don't know Baton Rouge, you're about to. I'm Brandy B. Harris. This is Love 225.
The only single estate distillery in the state, in Louisiana, and one of the only single estate rum distilleries in the country. We own the sugarcane fields, the mill, and the distillery. We own the entire process, as we say, from cane to glass.
In this week's segment of Red Stick Greasy Spoon, again, we got a wet whistle. We're going back to a place we've once visited, Oxbow Rum Distillery in downtown Baton Rouge, and this time, owner Olivia Stewart is taking us inside or behind the barrel, so to say, for a tour inside the distillery to show us how they're going from cane to glass. A bigger industrial size one of these in there.
Yeah, actually six of these.
Six of these in there.
To give you an idea, each individual roll in the big mill weighs 10 tons.
And how about how much cane does can it process?
Every harvest, we grind about 2 million tons of cane, or 18,000 tons of cane per day.
Which turns into
500 million pounds of sugar. We have a crown gear from just one set of those 3 roller mills. So give you a sense of scale.
Yeah.
You can see much bigger there.
Are all of the gears and the pieces that we see throughout, are they all from your family sugar mill?
We have our growing season of cane going now through to September when we start harvest. And we have our combines cut the cane. That's the 6 sets of mills I was telling you about. Crushing the cane for the juice. The juice gets boiled several times. Each time you get different grades of molasses coming out. So we're adding yeast with our raw ingredient into these tanks, and that's when the production of alcohol begins. Distillation is unique to spirits or liquor. Beer and wine, they're essentially done after the fermentation process. We keep going, and that process takes about, depending on the size of the batch, anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. If it's an unaged product, we'll go straight into these tanks and proof it down with deionized water to a bottle proof, and we'll bottle it, package it, and ship it out to our distributor. This is essentially to kind of communicate with that bourbon drinker or those bourbon consumers. It's all the rage right now, we get it. Here, with that product, we're really trying to show people that rum can be just as sophisticated.
Yeah, and which rum is this in here?
This is going to be a barrel-aged straight rum.
Okay.
And so you can do it either barrel proof, which is very strong. You want to try?
Sure.
Go for it. So it's just like
pick it up like a straw.
Yeah, it's like a straw, exactly. You can drop it in here. There you go. Nice.
Awesome. Just lay it back down?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you get to try straight from the barrel.
Awesome. Cheers.
Cheers.
I didn't drink the whole thing. Oh no, it does have a good taste to it.
Yeah, so you get a lot of the oak, the vanilla, cherry, that the oak is lending those flavors to the spirit. Over time, the oak contracts and expands, breathing in the spirit and breathing out, and really maturing it in
I
a
love it.
lovely way. Thank you.
How many bottles do y'all make a week?
600 to 1,200 bottles a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but again, some of what we're actually producing is going to be going into barrels rather than straight into bottles.
Okay.
So.
And of course, they don't just do tours. You can go get a taste. You can visit the Oxbow Rum Distillery tasting room. They're open Thursday through Sunday from noon to 6. And to book your tour, you can head on over to their website, oxbowrumdistillery.com. When we return, we're going to Hollywood. A very special guest is here in the Love 225 studio. We're talking to Keith Beauchamp, the documentarian, award-winning film producer whose life's work made quite the impact on the big screen. You do not want to miss this special conversation that's right here only on Love 225.
Life in Chicago, but they have a different set of rules down in Mississippi. You have to be extra careful.
I know.
Bo, be small.
Like this?
He's just going to see his cousins. Not a bad thing.
Till tells the true story of Mamie Till-Mobley's relentless pursuit of justice after her 14-year-old son, Emmitt Till, was brutally lynched in 1955 while visiting family in Mississippi. But the reason that film even exists is because of the man joining me today, award-winning filmmaker Keith Beauchamp. Thank you so much for joining us for this.
Thank you for having me.
So first, let's talk about the life's work. Your life started right here in the booth. Super proud of that. As soon as the film came out, I was telling everybody, Southern grad is the person behind this. So talk to us about your roots and how you got into documentaries and filmmaking.
Well, my journey with Emmitt Till took place when I was 10 years old. I grew up in Baton, Louisiana, outside of Baton Rouge, but still Baton Rougean. But I was in my parents' study and I came across an old Jet magazine that they kept over the years. And it was the magazine that had the story of Emmitt Till in it. And like many of us who saw that, went through the story and saw that photograph for the first time, it shocked me. And I just did not quite understand how this could happen to a child. And so just so happened, my parents was walking by the study and they looked in on me, and my mother comes in and she looks over my shoulder and she sees that I discovered this horrific photograph, and she calls my father in and they looked at each other and basically said, I think it's time to tell him the story. But throughout my life, the name Emmitt Till kept resurfacing, and when I got into high school, I was interracially dating. First thing my parents would tell me before I left the house at night was, don't let what happened to Emmitt Till happen to you. So it became an educational tool to teach me about the racism that still exists in this country today. But it wasn't until 2 weeks before my high school graduation, I would have to say I had my major run-in with racism, and that was when I was assaulted by an undercover police officer for dancing with the white classmate of mine here in Baton Rouge. And so when that took place, it made me feel compelled to fight injustice, but I felt the only way that could be possible if I became a part of the system to fight it. And so that's when I decided that I would study criminal justice at Southern University of Baton Rouge in hopes of becoming a civil rights attorney. And then towards my junior year of college, I was introduced to filmmaking by my best friend who had moved to New York City.
Talk to me about this film. Obviously, I know one of the big headlines for folks who may not be from here, Whoopi Goldberg is in it. She's attached to it. Danielle Deadweiler, nominated for multiple awards, deservedly so. If you haven't seen it, you'll see why she deserved. I think she deserved to win some awards for that. What do you think will be the long-term impact?
The story of Till was a story that was supposed to be forgotten. And so what I wish and hope that people would take away from this, which is very important because this is something that Mother Mobley instilled in me. And she kept saying, along the way, she would tell me, if you follow me, I live by my quotes every day. But Mother Mobley often said a statement to me, and that statement was, Keith, you must continuously tell Emmitt's story until man's consciousness is risen, because only then that would mean justice for Emmitt Till. For the longest time, I didn't understand quite what she was saying. And later on, as I matured and I understood the case a lot more, and then looking in hindsight at some of the things that she was trying to say to me, those words were prophetic in many ways. And what she was trying to say is no matter how hard I fight, no matter how long I fight for justice for Emmitt Till, I may even attain courtroom justice, but it's not going to stop all the Emmitt Tills of the world from happening. And that's what she wanted us to learn about the Emmitt Till story. And this is why she wanted us to tell this story time and time again, because when you hear about the slaughter of black and brown in the streets of America, whether it's at the hands of those who are sworn in to protect us, or whether it's at the hands of white supremacists, those cases are the Emmitt Tills of the day. So we must not disconnect Emmitt Till of 1955 from what we're seeing on the streets of America. And that is our wake-up call to come together again collectively to awaken the sleeping giant in us so that change could actually happen.
Raising the consciousness of humanity.
That's
I
right.
love that. She's still inspiring us all. So thank you so much, Keith, for sitting down to
you.
talk about the process, your relationship with Mother Mobley. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very, very special treat. If you haven't seen Till yet, make sure you do. I think it should be required viewing all across the country. When we return, we're talking to a young woman who is sharing her story of divine intervention. But wait until you hear her voice. That's coming up right here on Love 225. We'll be right back with much more. Today we have another special guest here in the Love 225 studio. This is a special young woman with a special gift and an even more incredible story that you just have to hear and see to believe. I can't wait to share it with you. Miss Ariel Simone, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So first, I didn't give the people a good tease. You are a singer, not a singer, you can sing. I mean, I told you this a few weeks ago, blown away, super talented. How long have you been a vocalist?
I started off as a kid. I kind of didn't take it serious until like high school. And when I went to Southern University, my second semester, I transferred from instrumentation into taking my vocals more serious. So I became a vocal major my second semester.
And you even joined a sorority,
Yes.
right? Talk to me about that.
I joined Sigma Alpha Iota, which is an international music fraternity for women, in 2013, and it has helped to cultivate me even more as a musician.
So you and I have been talking because obviously I was blown away at your talent because you're super sweet, you're super humble, but that voice is, oh my gosh. So talk to me, but when I got to know you, when I called you, I gave you a call and we talked, that was when I was really surprised to learn more about your story. There was a little bit of divine intervention that led to you using that voice even more, right? Talk to me about that.
Well, I didn't share this, but I'm a gunshot survivor, and you know, I had my moments of like bouts of depression in and out, and you know, sometimes I go back and I reflect on those moments where, you know, I'm like, I could have succumb to that gunshot, you know, but it's like, why am I still here? Like, and I prayed and asked God to reveal to me, like, God, you know, I'm in this dark place, but what are you using from what I've gone through to either pour into someone else? My story may inspire someone else to keep going, you know, so those were little things that kept me going, like in that moment of darkness.
Talk to me about this shooting, because the timing kind of lined up in a way where, I mean, from when I talked to you, it sounds like this had to be a huge impact, not just on that time, but that's going to be a moment you remember forever, right? You were a senior in high school. Kind of paint the picture for us of what happened.
Okay, so I was a senior in high school. The week before, I just got crowned homecoming queen. That Friday before, we had a football game, and, you know, I was in band and everything. And that day, you know, we were like, hey, you know, it's senior year. We didn't really get a chance to do anything together. So we were like, hey, let's go to New Orleans and have a good time or whatever, you know. Collectively, me and 6 of my other classmates went. So funny story is that day I took the ACT test that morning, and I had this weird feeling. I don't know where it came from, but I just kept feeling weird. And I would usually go to the gym and do Zumba, but that day I was extremely tired. So what happened was one of my friends, you know, was like, hey, you know, let's go out tonight or whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. So we ended up going to New Orleans, and the feeling stopped altogether. Got there. We're at this, it's like a boxing gym, the arena that they had the programming or whatnot. And I just remember, you know, everybody running. You know, you see one person run, we all like take off running. So I just remember running, and I remember hearing 6 gunshots go up in the air. And the next thing I realized I was on the ground. And when I got up, I felt this pain in my shoulder. And I looked and I saw I had, you know, blood gushing down my arm. So we were running to the ambulance, me and my other classmates, of course. And I was like, y'all, somebody called 911. I got shot. We got to the hospital. They got me settled and everything. I had another classmate that was in critical condition, and they rushed him to immediate surgery, and I was in stable condition. But by the grace of God, everything turned out good. The bullet came out a month later, and I'm here.
Wow. And you're here, you're sharing your talents and gifts with folks. So tell me, from that time to now, what have you learned about Ariel, and what is it that you want to share about your story with people? What's your message to people?
My message to people is literally don't lean into your own understanding. I know that might sound like a little cliche, so to speak, but literally, God's plans for us can supersede what we may feel in that moment or what we may feel about ourselves altogether. But keep going. There's purpose in your pain.
Lean not on your own understandings.
Amen.
Thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
joining us. You're going to stick around. She's going to have some fun with us. We're going to play some games
I'm
in this
excited.
next segment. And you do not want to miss it because she's going to share her very, very, very special gift with us. You do not want to miss that. Don't go away. Once again, we're going to be asking all of our guests, is it a 10? So stay tuned. We've got much more Love 225 still to come right here.
Stay tuned.
And we're back. Thank you once again for joining us on Love 225. I'm Brandy B. Harris, and in today's segment of To Be the Judge, we're introducing you to our guests, who we've already introduced you to, producer, documentarian Keith Beauchamp, Ariel Simone, fabulous vocalist. You do not want to miss her special performance coming up. So they're going to let us know if it's a 10 or a chop. We want hot takes, honest opinions only, okay?
Okay.
All right, so let's start
do
with
it.
AI music developments. As technology continues to prove to us there is no limit on how far artificial intelligence can go, from writing essays to becoming a Snapchat friend and now cloning music artists' voices and creating whole new songs. AI has entered the music industry officially, acting as famous recording artists' voices. And it's not hard at all. The only worry right now is about copyright infringement. I'm gonna start with you, Ariel, because you are a vocalist. What do you think about computer-generated music? AI vocals.
Honestly, I feel it takes away from the originality
It's
of
a chop.
person. Yeah, I would have to, hear.
Give it. It's a hard chop. It's a hard chop. It's a no. We're passing on it.
It's a no for me.
Why? Why are you saying no?
I say no because it takes away from the originality of a person's actual, voice.
The soul in the soul music. We have to have that. Keith, what you think?
You know, we're talking about music here, but we're dealing with the same issue when it comes to writing. Now, there's pros and cons to it. I think we all evolve in the AI world. Music, I don't think it should be done.
Okay.
But writing, it's helpful for those of us who are
Procrastinating and waiting till the last minute, and we got to fill in these sentences.
But you still have to be active. So I'm kind of on the fence with this, I guess a chop and a 10. Can I do that?
Chop and a 10? Well, hey, this is all Love 225 first for sure. So we're going a 5 on the love and maybe a 5 on the chop, and we're going to split it right down the middle.
That's
okay.
Right.
Well, here's another question for you. Would you try vitamin C weed? Yeah, we're talking about real seaweed that has incredible nutritious source of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Melvin back here is already saying chop. It's the newest superfood that, according to Pinterest, it is a big time deal. And it looks like vitamin C, see we did there, vitamin C, is said to become the biggest food trend of the year. I love healthy stuff, so I'm giving it a 10.
Oh, wow.
Y'all need to open yourselves up to new tastes and new palate profiles. What do y'all think?
I say a 10. I give it a 10. My reasoning for saying a 10 is because I feel like it's natural. I've eaten seaweed before, and it's not terrible. So I would definitely give it a 10.
I like the seaweed chips. What about you, Keith?
I'll say a 10.
Okay.
Because, I eat sushi every now and then.
Okay.
You have the seaweed on it. That's good.
I don't know if that counts, but we'll take it.
That don't count?
We'll take it. We'll take it. Sushi on the seaweed.
Total seaweed. I'm not sure about the total seaweed.
Okay, let's watch this one.
I really felt part of LSU.
Graduating seniors, graduation's in full swing all across the country, but right here in the booth, we had a couple of seniors showing us it's never too late to get that degree. Charlene Bourgeois became the oldest woman to graduate from LSU this spring, and then at Southeastern, 85-year-old Kenneth Colonna, oldest man to graduate from Southeastern in the spring. How we feel about folks over 65 going back to college? I'm giving it a 10. You're never too old.
Yeah.
Age ain't nothing but a number, baby.
I don't have anything to say about that. It's
There
a
we
Big
go.
10.
Right.
You know?
What you say?
Self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory. 10s across the board for everybody.
10.
We love it.
Yes.
Congratulations to all the graduates this spring.
Right.
And of course, before we go, we got to give y'all big time shout outs. Keith Beauchamp, award-winning filmmaker, documentarian. Till, if you haven't seen it, go see it, go rent it. You can download it on Apple or on Amazon Prime.
That's right.
Keith, if people wanted to follow you, get more information, where can they go?
I'm on social media across the board, so they can find me there.
Okay, and Miss Ariel Simone, she's going to be sticking around for us. So tell people, I told y'all she's a vocalist. We're going to share that with you in just a bit. But if people wanted to follow you, get more information, where can they go?
You can follow me on Instagram at Ariel_Simone_music.
All right.
Beautiful.
And thank y'all so much for joining us. But stick around. We got a little bit of lanyap coming up after this break. I've been teasing to it. A very special performance here in the Love 225 studio. Stick around for more. We'll be right back. We've got something very special here in South Louisiana. Make sure you take time to go like, follow, and share the Love 225 show across social media because we want to share all of those special, unique stories with you. And to close us out, we're getting a very special performance. Here's Ariel Simone performing The Golden Torch.
This song is dedicated to those who question their purpose on a daily basis. Look for the light that's on the inside of you that you were born with, whether you're aware of it or not. So this is your time to tap in. It's getting kind of hard to tame my mane with a misplaced crown. I feel that I'm at war, trying to refrain from looking down. Everywhere I go, I feel that I am out of place. Let me analyze, reevaluate. I may need a change.